Hello YouTube friends, Ben Ochart here. You know, from time to time, some of you have asked me, where do you get your fish? So I'm not going to tell you where I got all of them, that would take us a long time, but I'm going to tell you where I got some of the more popular ones. So let's get right into it. So if you're new to this channel, and if you're like me, and you like to always be learning about fish and trying to improve your game in taking care of fish, and you like tips, certainly hit that sub button, hit that bell so you get notifications, and also join me on Saturdays for the Cichlids and Coffee live stream so we can interact on a live basis, which I enjoy quite a bit. So let's talk a little bit about where I get my fish. And this is in no way a knock on any fish provider that I don't mention in this video. There are a lot of good ones out there. I'm only going to talk about a few in the limited amount of time that I have that you know, the ones whose fish I seem to get a lot of comments on. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you the fish and let you know where I picked it up. And these are folks who I have a personal experience with, and I've been very happy with both the service and the quality of the fish that they have delivered to me. So let's go ahead and go at it one fish at a time. We'll start with the big boys, and in this case I'm talking about the eye biter. This monster came to me from the Cichlid Shack in Arizona. James Largo deals in quality fish. This is an F1, beautiful fish. Also in that big beast tank I have a very large, pushing 10 inches, a trout. That beautiful trout is from Trevor O'Shea at the Wonder of Cichlids. Beautiful specimen, very good size, starting to assert himself and might someday end up being the tank boss. He will be bigger than everyone else. Also in this tank is a Protomelis with a real chip on his shoulder, and I'm talking about that fire hap. Picked him up from Live Fish Direct. Came in with 4 other fish about his same size. He is now twice the size of the fish he came with, and has just grown like a weed. It's very thick and just a heavy fish with a lot of attitude. Very, very aggressive, and keeps all the other fish on their toes. Interestingly enough, one of the fish I get the most comments on is the Maduka White Lips. That's a Placidochromis that I have in the 100 gallon. You can see him there. And I actually picked him up from Paul, the inventory king, a private seller. This beautiful Benga Sunshine was also from Trevor O'Shea over at the Wonder of Cichlids. Very beautiful fish. Really pops with that black background. Also picked up that Malawi hawk that you see there, and that bicolor 500, both of them cruising around the top, hoping I'm going to feed them. Both of those were picked up from the Cichlid Shack, again from James Largo over in Arizona. You can always count on quality fish from both of those providers. They deal only in good fish, and they stand behind their fish. So if anything ever goes wrong, or let's say you have a DOA, dead on arrival, they will replace it very, very quickly. I also have in the 100 a little jerkfish called a lemon jake. They're very pretty. Their combination of yellow and blue is very, very attractive. But if you're familiar with this type of fish, just like the otter points, they can be very nippy. You can see him chasing a fish right there. This is a beautiful Malawi gar, and I picked him up. I picked him up also from the Cichlid Shack. Beautiful fish. Picked him up as a small juvie with no color, and he is blooming into a beautiful male. This is a very a bit rare. This is an Exochromis angenus, and I picked him up from Josh Cunningham over at Cunningham Cichlids, another vendor that is all in. He has quite a setup, quite a fish room, and has invested quite a bit, and really stands behind his fish I can go on with a lot of these fish, like this jello reef here, but it's really too much to include in one video. Maybe I'll put out some other ones. If there's one in particular that you want to know about, just ask about them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer your question about where I happen to pick that fish up. There's quite a few in here that I've picked up from many different sources, as well as the fish that I have in the 60-gallon that I'm not even showing in this video. So there you have it. That's where I picked up those fish. And do you have a favorite provider of fish? Maybe it's your local fish store. Do you have anyone that you buy from that ships fish to you? I'd like to know. I'm always interested in checking out other sources that are out there, check out the quality, the prices, and see how it compares to other folks that are out there selling fish. Certainly one of the things I look for is a vendor that stands behind their product, one that's been around for a while, not what Trevor O'Shea once referred to as the pop-up vendor who just shows up, offers a great deal, collects a bunch of money, and then disappears. The folks that I've talked about in this video are, they're in it for the long haul. They have the investment in tanks, they have the setup, and they really stand behind the product. If there's ever a problem, they'll fix it right away. So if you have anyone you've worked with and you're very happy with them, be sure to mention them in the comments below, and definitely hit that bell and hit that sub button if you haven't already. And I'll see you on Saturday at Cichlids and Coffee, the live stream. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in. It is very appreciated.